Welcome back, everybody. Holiday Doc here, and we've got a brand new show to introduce to you guys today. We've got OpTic Scump in the building, and we're kicking off his new series on the OpTic Nation channel today. And you can go ahead and introduce what this is all about, bro.
What's up, guys? OpTic Scumpy here. I'm going to be doing a series called Scumping on Kids, and it's going to show you guys how to become one of the best slayers in the game.
Now, when we think top slayers in the game, there's different elements. You know, you mentioned it in a conversation right before, that there's a difference between a top slayer and a top kill horse. Why don't you break this down for us, and let's separate these two right away before we even start.
Alright, well, I'll start off with the kill whore, because that's what I am not. So, a kill whore will position themselves so that they can get strictly kills. They'll chase kills, they won't play so much for the objective, while the slayer will be getting kills, but at the same time he'll be helping his team get map control and push for the objective.
And when you talk kill whores, when you talk objective slayers, you know, what is your exact role as the slayer on OpTic team right now?
My exact role on the OpTic team is pretty much I'm always going to try and stay alive, try and put myself in a position where I can possibly stop the flag if they pull it out when my teammates die. You never want to go 3 dead and then, like, you never want to have 4 dead. You always want to have 1 guy up. Always try and have somebody in position to stop it, just in case.
So if we're trying to build you guys into the better slayer, we got to start from the ground up. And where's the ground up on Modern Warfare 3? It has to do with your class setups. So, you know, what is a particular setup that what's your go-to class? You know, when you want to not only get kills, but support your team and make sure that you're getting into those gunfights that's going to favor you. What do you use and why?
As of right now, I use the ACR red dot with focus on it because the focus on it is just so good. You can win so many gunfights, close or long range, which is what I really like. You can outgun SMGs, you can outgun long range guns. It's just kick adds a little bit less recoil, but you don't really need it since the ACR is already a laser beam. So you really want to have focus so you get that little bit of flinch advantage whenever you're getting shot at.
And the ACR is your go-to weapon no matter what?
Whenever you're down in a game, you can always pull out an SMG, and I prefer either the UMP extended mags or the MP7 extended mags with focus on both. You always want to have that extra gun just in case your team's down and you want to put some more pressure on the other team, maybe get a flag out in the last seconds of the game.
What about your Semtex or your frag nades? What do you like to use better?
Well, I was really bad with frags when I started to play competitive at the end of Call of Duty 4, so I've been pretty scared to use them since, so I just stuck with the Semtex ever since Modern Warfare 2.
Any particular, well, the obvious you're going to be using concussive, but is there any reason that you don't like to even try the flashbangs, just for those of you who are not competitive savvy?
Well, flashbangs are really good. I'm pretty sure they throw at the same rate as a concussive would, but they don't do as much for your team. Like, if the other team's pulling out your flag and you flash them, well, you flashed them, but you didn't slow them down. So, like, your team, they can still run away, and your team's still trying to get in position. But on the other hand, when you have a concussive and you stun them, it slows them down so much, and then you can try and get the kills, kill their cutoffs, and then stop the fight.
On a map particular to Dome, you know, we're watching right now, you like to stay in kind of the center, but you rotate a lot, and you seem to push in, and then you push back out from the flag back to your mid, and you turn around a lot. You know, what goes into your thinking when you're moving in to certain areas, and where do you usually like to sit on Dome?
Well, you always want to have a basic idea of where your teammates are. If they're pushing on the crate side outside of loading dock, you want to pull it that way towards them since the other team's going to spawn right outside of bunker. But say your team's pushing from like 2 crate side, let's say that, and then you run down the middle alley, they're going to spawn literally like right on their flag, or they're going to spawn right behind the big crate. So you just always want to have a general idea of where your teammates are, and you want to push accordingly.
How important is it for the main slayer or yourself to be able to nail down spawns and know where the enemy team is going to be?
You always want to know spawns just in case, so you can hopefully maybe get a spawn kill. But that's the thing, if you're aiming at a spawn, you're going to give them a better spawn to maybe stop you from getting their flag. So you never want to be strictly aiming at a spawn. But like peeking up and looking like say they're spawning bunker, peeking up and looking from middle so they don't get into their base is fine. You just don't want to sit there and stare at it. that makes sense.
So that forces spawn. So we'll break that down a little bit more. If you're looking into bottom side bunker and you're looking into that corner spawn point, they won't spawn there. They'll spawn out in loading, is what you're saying.
Well, they'll either spawn loading if your teammates aren't there, but if your teammates are there, they're not going to spawn there. That cancels out a spawn as well. If your teammates are loading and you're looking down there, they're going to spawn right on their flag, right inside that dome building.
All right, so we're starting the second half of the game here, and you've already put some impressive numbers in the first half. Main Slayer's job, what's most important off the break-off routes? What do you usually like to do, and where do you get to first?
Whenever you're spawning inside dome, I like to push crate side, and I like to challenge the people that are trying to come out of the main building up there where their flag is. But if you're spawning inside the main building, you want to be the safety when you're a Slayer. You want to be sitting in your back hall just in case your objective players pushing with their SMGs die. So you don't want them to overflood you, but you don't want to be too over aggressive. Definitely not.
Well, yeah, exactly. You don't want to push it or not push in there and let them have full control of it right away. But, having that safe player in the backside to watch anybody that funnels in after is a safe way to go. When you're watching Flag in particular, a lot of people like to, recall Black Ops as, kind of a camp-heavy CTF game. We're seeing something completely different here in Modern Warfare 3. Yes, there's some of the teams that favor, dedicating an actual person to watching their flag, but how do you make sure that you're being the Slayer who's also getting the kills where they defendingly need to be, but also securing map control? What's the balance there?
You always need to be aware of your flank, because that's where they're always going to push, such as Black Ops. They're always going to push your flank, and they're going to try and get a sneak pull out, is what we call it. And typically when a team sneak pulls, their team isn't really in position to help the flag carrier. It's pretty much just a random thing, which was what made the pros think Black Ops was really fluky, because that happened a lot. But in MW3, you can really control it. Like, you can just watch your flank forever on some of these maps, and it's not like you're camping because you're spawning there. But such as Black Ops, you'd be spawning away, but then you'd run to your flag, and then you just sit there. It's completely different.
Kind of speaking on sneak pulls, I think Moho has that in the bag. He's always trying to go for flank pulls and everything like that. Is there any sort of teams that you've kind of put together already where you have to place yourself in a constant position to counter?
Whatever team Sensor is on, I think he's on TT at the moment. OpTic Nation, Nade Shot's really good at being sneaky. Him and Twiz, it's like a 1-2 punch. They're a really good team. They're one of the better teams. Other than that, not really. Everybody plays pretty standard, but every team is always going to have that one guy that can always sneak pull no matter what. So you always got to be aware no matter who you're playing.
Okay, so kicking back to more of developing, the Slayer. Typically when you think Slayer, you think tremendous gun skill. Have you always had your gun skill, with the console shooters, or was it something you've developed?
Actually, no. When I used to play Modern Warfare 2, my shot wasn't as good, but I played a lot slower. Like, I would consider myself a kill whore in Modern Warfare 2, but that's because I was trying to get my name out there. I was trying to impress the pros, but really, guys, that doesn't impress us. Like, that draws us away. But I started to play Claw, which is where you put your pointer finger on your 4 buttons, and then you shoot and throw grenades with your middle finger. And I got so used to that, and I don't know what happened, but it just changed my shot, and it made my shot so much better than what it was before.
What about your sensitivity settings?
I play on default controller settings with 2 sensitivity. It's not too fast, it's not too slow, it's just that perfect sensitivity for Slayers. I think Rambo plays on 3 because he really rushes with that MP7. So you really just gotta play it by ear, whatever role you are.
I've got a question I've asked a lot of pros, and I get mixed answers, mixed reviews, and everything like that. But is there like a warm-up period, when you start your day of scrims where you're rusty? Is there anything that you do to kind of get your hands and your feel, your dexterity kind of all into order?
I always crack my fingers before I play. I don't know, I just feel like that warms them up a little bit. But there's always that one game where you're like, yeah, that's my warm-up, because it's true. Sometimes your hands just feel like cinder blocks on your controller. You really can't do anything, but you just got to play a couple games and let your hands get warmed up, and then just go for it.
I've had a couple people tell me that when their hands get cold, they can't play very well. Do you feel the same way?
Oh yeah, definitely. When your hands are cold, it just feels like your reaction time's cold. I don't know why, but it just feels like you're moving really slow around the map.
Well, I want to thank you for starting this series here on OpTic. We've got a couple seconds left of the game. Is there anything you want to finish out with?
I'm really happy to be on OpTic this season, and we're looking to do really big things. We're looking really good as a squad. I love my teammates, so looking to do big things this year.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. And as always, if you love your competitive gameplay, hit that thumbs up button. And don't forget to check out Mr. Scumperjumper's Twitch stream, which is absolutely off the hook. And it's twitch.tv/Scumperjumper. See you guys.